Yo, what's going on, guys? The Kitty G on EGTV, and we're back again with another video. And today I got a wonderful guest with me. I got the amazing Dan Potts in the house. You already know what it is. Well-known Arsenal fan in the house. I've been watching his content for a long time. I think we've only spoken once on the Football Terrace, but it's nice to have you on my crowd, in front of everyone on my channel now. Dan Potts is going to be the special guest, as you guys can see by the title in the thumbnail and with the beautiful channel art that we have. But Dan, how are you doing, man?
Listen, I'm all good, man. I've been enjoying the time off in the summer. I'm trying to get as much done as I can with friends and family, and obviously try and put out some content as well. But it's a pleasure to be on, man. And I look forward to talking football with everybody, and it'll be a pleasure to talk football with you, man.
There you go. There you go. So we're going to be talking about expectations for the season. That is what we're going to be discussing. So if you're watching on the playback or you're watching live, let me know your expectations for next season, and we'll run through them at the end of the video. And also, I have a poll question going on. Expectations: finish third, fourth, potentially win the Europa League, and also if you see us finishing outside of the top four. I don't know if you put that as your expectations, but I just put that in there for the people who want to talk about that. But let's get into it. First things first. Dan, what got you into Arsenal content, man? Because I know you're a big Arsenal fan. How'd you become an Arsenal fan, and how'd you get into the content game?
Sure, so I fell in love with football because of Ian Wright, mate. Around about 1992 was when I started remembering watching football. We just signed Ian Wright around that time. I remember seeing him at Palace when I was a bit younger, but I was very, very young. I was 4 or 5 years old, you know. So I remember him moving to Arsenal. I followed him and absolutely loved everything about Ian Wright. And then, of course, from there, followed Arsenal, loved the red and white. And I'm an Essex boy, so I was always going to support a London club. But I didn't really know what I was going to do football-wise in terms of supporting a club, and I just fell in love with the red and white, fell in love with Ian Wright, and supported Arsenal ever since. And then it was probably about 5 years ago now, 4 years ago maybe. I've been a season ticket holder since I was about 14 years old at Highbury, and then obviously over to Emirates. And somebody I sat behind said, "Do you want to come on my podcast?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." Didn't really know what a podcast was, mate, to be honest with you. And then I jumped on with him, and then Same Old Arsenal got in touch, and we spoke with them. And then I got on to Same Old Arsenal. And then it just kind of grew from there, really. I met loads of people in the Arsenal world through social media, through podcasts, got myself on AFTV, got myself involved with other people. And from there, it's just grown. So I thought it's about time that I put something together for my own content now. So Lee Judges and I run a channel together, and I've just started my own channel as well. So yeah, it's grown, mate. It's been amazing, to be honest. It's been a crazy few years, man. I can't lie.
There you go. There you go. And yeah, if you guys want to check out his channel, the link is in the description to his channel. And actually, it's in the title. It's Football's 12th Man Podcast. So what are you doing in your channel? It's not really just Arsenal now. You're going to be talking about everybody. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong at all. So I do quite a lot of Arsenal content, as you know. There's a few channels that I'm on, and I regularly go on AFTV and Lee Judges TV and all of the guys, really. We kind of collab together. So I thought it'd be nice to give some other fans a voice. And there isn't really many football podcasts I know that does quite a lot of collaboration between all of the clubs. So I've kind of put a format together where throughout the season we're going to have 3 shows. One of them's going to be a race for Europe, one of them's going to be a fight for survival, and the other's going to be a best of the rest. So we're going to try and get a voice from every single fan from the Premier League. So I've got an influencer from every Premier League club involved in the channel. So watch this space. There'll be a lot of shows, there'll be a lot of content, and that's what it's going to be. So Football's 12th Man, I'd love a subscribe, and thanks for promoting it, Egal.
No problem, no problem. And people, don't forget to hit that thumbs up on the channel, because it definitely does help us produce the content. Now, I know, if I'm not mistaken, your opinions on Arteta are very much different than mine. So let's start with that. I know it's 2022. We shouldn't be talking about manager in, manager out, so we're not going to really do that. I just want to know, what's your journey been with this team, and your opinions on the manager? How has it changed throughout this time as manager over the 2.5 seasons that he's been manager?
Yeah, it's crazy to think that it's been that long. The time has just flown by. I can't lie, it really has. And when he first was appointed, I was disappointed because it's not somebody I wanted. I wanted a proven winner. I wanted a manager who was, in my opinion, elite. And I felt that it was the complete wrong way to go about things, to start again completely with someone who has not has not managed before and was learning on the job. So I wasn't really for his appointment. But when he came in and he took Unai Emery's side over, which was, let's be honest, in parts really poor, and won an FA Cup, I thought perhaps he's got something, this guy. Perhaps he has. He'd been told that he's highly rated, so let's give him a chance. And I gave him a chance that season. He won the FA Cup, and then we went into the summer and he bought Thomas Partey and Gabriel, and I thought, perfect. We've needed a Sol Campbell and Vieira replacement since Sol Campbell and Vieira have gone, and it's been 15 years since that happened. So I thought, good start. And then I started to see a few problems, Egal, which I expected to see, and I just got kind of frustrated that I got proven right. I really wanted to be proven wrong with this guy. I thought, you know what, this guy could come in and completely change things. He could change everybody's opinions, but I just fear that the lack of experience is gonna set in. And we started losing games at home to Burnley and Wolves and Leicester and Villa. We got thumped, and I'm like, what's going on here, man? I've seen enough. Like, we can't go down this road. We need to go and try something different. Let's go and get Thomas Tuchel. He's available at the moment. And he took 9th place Chelsea to a Champions League final and won it. And then got them into the top 4 as well. And that for me just said, right, that's the way we've got to go. Because this team needs an elite manager, because it's not an elite side. So we need an elite manager. We can't have a poor side and a poor manager. The two can't be compatible. So I would have got rid of him then and gone and got somebody else. Then we went into the next season after spending more money. And I thought to myself, let's look at where we're still short. And again, we looked to me as if we were going to go into that season with some form of a team that was better in the next transfer window, let's say. And I just remember coming up against Unai Emery's side, thinking, if he loses this, there really is no way back for him. He's got to go. And he lost it. And I thought, it must be now. Like, the time's done. We're not going anywhere. We've come 8th and we're coming 8th again. And I just remember thinking this time must be up. And still, we backed him. And we gave him 150 million. And we were out of Europe. And we were 4 points ahead with 3 games left. And we still failed. So every single season, it seems to me that it's just like, go on then, go on, prove me wrong. Oh, you failed again. Go on, please do it. Oh, you failed again. And I get really frustrated with people like that. So then I start to see the same mistakes last season. I seem to see the GRANIT XHAKA playing at left back again when it didn't work against Villarreal. Thomas Partey playing on his own. It was actually LOKONGA playing on his own this time against Brighton, where we lost. And those were the ones for me. It wasn't really Newcastle and Tottenham that did me in, because I was disappointed like everybody else, but I'd already been disappointed and accepted we weren't going to get top 4 because we'd lost to Brighton, Palace and Southampton. And that for me was a sackable offence. So for me, what it's done is it's actually gone a full circle for me now, that I've gone from giving Arteta a chance to saying, do you know what, Kroenke, you've put him in charge. You're the one I'm looking at, because you're the one who's gone with his process and the board. So I've got to give him a chance. To, actually, you're not good enough. Right the way back now to, well, if you're not going to sack him, I don't know what you expect. Because if we're not going to do this again this forthcoming season and we still don't get into the Champions League, then of course I'm going to be looking at Stan Kroenke. I've had enough of the Arteta hate, if I'm honest with you. I'm exhausted by it.
Let me just stop you there, Dan. I was once questioning the manager after we didn't do much business last season at the beginning of the season, and we lost 3 games in a row, didn't score any goals, and conceded 9 goals. At that point, I said he's a dead man walking, and the team looked like he completely lost the dressing room and they were not playing for him anymore. Then he got a couple of his players in. The window was over, and we signed Odegaard. We signed these guys, and we've seen an uplift in performance. I started seeing good runs of football. I started seeing us playing good football. I started seeing us changing our ways slightly, and you can now see how likable the team is, how much everyone's fighting in the same breath. So I feel like some of the things that Arteta has gotten wrong in his early stages was because of inexperience and was because of the fact that he was learning on the job, which I, as myself, don't think was a good idea to have somebody learning on the job. But at the same time, I like the fresh ideas. I like the fact that they're going and backing a manager fully in the transfer window and investing fully in Mikel Arteta throughout this time. I get that maybe if we had a better manager, we might have gotten top 4 the last couple of seasons, potentially. But at the same time, we don't know if that would have happened if we did have a better manager 100%. You get what I'm saying? So for me, I'm more or less backing the manager. I'm more or less backing what I'm seeing. And I'm kind of fallen back in love with the idea of Mikel Arteta leading us into the right direction. I'm not viewing Mikel Arteta as the guy who's going to win us the league titles and Champions Leagues. I just view him as somebody like a Brendan Rodgers who potentially could get us to the shop window for the next great manager to come in and take over. I think that's what he might be at this moment in time. And I will still need to see more to be bought in fully to say he's going to win me Champions Leagues or leagues, because I'm not there yet.
I think you make some good points in terms of some of the things that he's done right, because let's be honest, I'm not one of these Arsenal fans that says everything he's done is complete shambles and it's wrong and that I can't give him any credit. Do you know what? I can give both Arteta and Edu some credit in terms of what they're trying to do off the pitch. I think everybody can understand in their head what they're telling us they're trying to do. I think everybody gets what they're trying to do. Whether it's going to work or not is obviously yet to be proven. Whether they can execute it, implement a young squad, get that squad together, keep it together, gel it together, connect it with the fan base. We've seen some of that stuff. It's a young squad. There's definitely a connect with the fan base, in my opinion, from going to games home and away. I think there's a lot of players now in the tunnel when they line up that I'm really a fan of. I actually quite like the players, and it's been a while since I can say that. And I think that we were really, really poor under Unai Emery and Arsene Wenger. But actually, there were some times where we've really been poor under this guy as well. And I think sometimes people forget that. So I think there's definitely some positives in terms of the stuff they're trying to do off the pitch, the removal of the culture, getting some of the players in, connecting with the fan base. I like all that. But at the end of the day, Egal, you've got to win, man. You've got to win. And results, it's a results business. So I look at what he's trying to do. I look at what they have done. And I still think there's a long way to go. I know we're going to get into the transfer window, so I'm not going to touch on that. But I do think that there is probably some excuses that people are now running out of with this upcoming season. So it's going to be interesting.
Okay. And just off the back of yesterday, there was an interview with Edu, and I put more of the pressure on Edu and not getting the right players in than I did on Mikel Arteta at the beginning of last season. Because as much as Mikel Arteta was making the mistakes on the pitch, like he did make some mistakes, I'm not going to hide away from it. The Brighton, Crystal Palace, and Southampton game, he could have done better at managing those games. Even the Tottenham game, North London Derby, we could have maybe gone a little bit more defensive to try to secure a point rather than go for it and end up losing in the fashion that we did. But I also put a lot of pressure on the management, not recruiting the right players, making some mistakes throughout this time. And Edu has been looking to fix those issues. With his interview yesterday, I really thought the interview was very informative, really taught us a lot about how he thinks about the players and everything else. What do you think about Edu's interview yesterday? Because I thought Edu's interview yesterday was very good and informative. And I kind of like the fact that they're speaking to us about the ins and outs of what's going on behind the scenes.
So it's very different, isn't it, to this time last year? And I think Edu's learnt a lot, because last year he said we don't have a target and we've lost the first 3 games and let's see what this team can do and all of this stuff, and it just sounded nonsense. This time I think he's learnt from that, and he's tried to explain to the fans that we do have ambition, that he doesn't just want to get top 4, that he was built on winning mentality, invincibles, and he wants to take us back to the glory days. That's what fans want to hear. Now, listen, it could be waffle, couldn't it? You know, it could be just saying the right things, but all you can do is go on what he said in that interview. And I think for me, in terms of what we believe we should be doing as a fan base, I think the fan base is sometimes a little bit up and down with their reactions and the way that they accept some stuff. However, having said that, I know there's not Arsenal fans out there that don't want to win. If you're an Arsenal fan that doesn't want to win a trophy or a Premier League title or a Champions League, in my opinion, you shouldn't be supporting the club. So that's where I want to be going. So when we get top 4, and even if we did last season, it wouldn't be let's get the champagne bottles out and we've done it. No. There's 3 teams ahead of us still. Let's keep going. And that should be the mentality. And I think that what Edu was trying to get across was that. I just think that some people will look at that and say it was a bit of a wafty way of saying it. But you know what? I want to hear the things that he was saying. And he said them this time round. So I think he's learnt a lot from what he said last year, in my opinion. So it was definitely more promising to hear from him.
There you go. And were you ever questioning Edu's job as much as you were questioning Arteta's? Because for me, I had a lot of more pressure on him. And I was looking at him and I'm saying to him, what experience does he have? What connections does he have in Europe? What is he, it seems to be he's building connections and everything. But he does have some relationships, clearly, speaking about Deco being close to him and everything else. But hey, what do you think about that?
Listen, I thought he was class when he said we make the decisions, not Mikel Arteta. And I've been trying to say that for a while, because what makes me laugh is that people will say, what a signing Aaron Ramsdale was. That's a brilliant signing. Arteta deserves so much credit for that. What a terrible signing Cedric was. Edu needs to take a lot of blame for that one. Oh, whoa. It don't work like that. Yeah, they both take the credit and they both take the blame because they're both apparently doing it together. And you heard it from Edu's lips. They're looking at the players together. They're looking at the style together. They're looking at the winning mentality together. And they said, if Mikel doesn't want a player, then I won't go for him. So it proves to me that there can't be this Edu's great, Mikel's rubbish, or Mikel's great, Edu's rubbish. Because, like you said, early on you stuck the blame on him a little bit more than Arteta. But actually, I think it's clear now that both of them are, for whatever reason, reasons you might think. I think they are together with it, and they keep using the words we and team and it's our decisions and stuff like that. Now you can get insiders that say no, Edu's not liked, or Arteta is loved but Edu is not liked. But actually, I think from what we can go by, well, fans can go by, is what we see by what Edu and Mikel say, and from what they both say, it looks as if they both do get on. So we'll see what happens there. But for me, mate, I do believe that Edu and Arteta have got stuff wrong in terms of some of the signings, but I think they have got a lot of them right. And I actually quite like the team. I do. I can't lie. I think our first 11 is looking very good. It's our strength in depth where we have issues. And I think they've got one. They've got wrong. They've got Runnison wrong. Pablo Marie, Cedric, Tavares, some might say needs a loan before he's classed as a good signing. They've obviously got stuff wrong with the Willian deal early on. And I think we've seen enough from some of those signings. But when you look at it, mate, they have also got some right. I think the Gabriel Jesus signing will be great. And of going back now, Gabriel, Party, etc. So I think they've done things right, but they've definitely got some things wrong as well, man.
Okay, so while we're talking about transfers, let's talk about some of the incomings and outgoings. First, let's just talk about some of the incomings, right? We've gotten a bunch of incomings. We got Gabriel Jesus, we've gotten Zinchenko, we got Fabio Vieira, Marquinhos, we got Matt Turner that came in the summer in the January window. So, what have you thought about the incoming so far? And then we're gonna talk about potentially who we bring in also. So, what do you rate Arsenal's transfer window so far, incomings and outgoings, in your opinion?
So before Zinchenko signed, I gave it a 5. So I'm probably going to give it a 6 now. And people might think that's low, but I honestly believe there's so much more for us to do. And there's so much more for us to do outgoing as well as incoming. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to stay at that low. I do believe we're going to have a very good window. And by the end of it, I think we'll be looking at it towards the higher than that, much higher than that. But at the moment, it's still that low because I still believe there's about 10 outgoings needed and probably at least 4 coming in. So I don't know that's all going to get done. And that worries me. Now, in terms of our incomings, let's start with that. We'll start with the ones that don't really excite me. Matt Turner, I've only seen him a couple of times. Looks a bit shaky because it's his first couple of games at Arsenal. Definitely a downgrade on Leno, but I think that was always going to happen because Leno's a good goalkeeper, but obviously he has to go because he wants to go. So not too exciting. Marquinhos, likewise. I hope he's another Martinelli. I hope he's better than Martinelli. I hope he's brilliant, but I don't know enough about him to say what he's going to be like. Been quite impressed with little bits that I've seen from him in pre-season in terms of his technique, and I think that he can be somebody that we could utilise and use, but don't know much about him. Fabio Vieira, a player that has a lot of technical ability on YouTube, but a player that I don't know a lot about. His assists look great. I think he's comfortable on the ball. I like the position. I think he's very, very good from what I've seen. But again, don't know what he's like. Don't know if he's suited to this league. At 5'7", it worries me that he'll just get pushed off the ball. So he needs to bulk up if he wants to work in this league, in my opinion. So they're the ones that don't really excite me too much. But the ones that do excite me, one of them I don't count as a signing. Is Saliba. Yeah, I don't count it as a signing. Emery signed him 3 years ago. So, but Egal, he looks quality. I can't lie, man. I've seen him in France. He looks quality.
You did a whole video on Saliba. I watched it. Honestly, he is amazing, man.
He looks fantastic for me, man. And, the jury's been out with Ben White for me, and a lot of people think I'm harsh on him. I don't think he's crap. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that he's definitely got competition now for me because Saliba looks class. So that one I'm happy with. And the other two I'm really happy with, man. I can't lie. I think they're brilliant signings. Zinchenko, for me, versatile, utility player, somebody who will come in at left back if he needs to, somebody who will play at left back happily, somebody who can play in the midfield. I think he can play in a few positions. He's going to bring leadership qualities because he's the captain of Ukraine. He's going to bring winning mentality, and he's an absolute workhorse. I don't think there's anybody that can say this is a poor signing for £30 million. I think it's a very, very good signing. And of course, the one everyone's talking about, Gabriel Jesus. I do think this is a great signing. There's everything about this signing I like because, again, he brings leadership and mentality and winning mentality at that. But also, Egal, he does a bit of everything. He can link up play. He's stronger than people give him credit for. He can hold the ball up. He can carry the ball. He can take on players. He can finish. And I think what I like more about anything is not just his work rate and his fact that I think he'll be a fan's favourite. actually believe that he could be very hungry to prove himself in this team because of the way that Manchester City have said you can go now, Haaland's here. As much as I think that's probably the right decision as far as Manchester City are concerned, in his head he's going to be thinking, I'm going to prove Man City that I actually am a very, very good striker, and I'm going to prove to them why. I'm going to go and banging goals for Arsenal. And I'm not predicting these 40 goals, 30 goals I'm hearing some Arsenal fans coming out with, but I do think if he gets 15 to 20 Premier League goals this season, it'll be a very, very good signing for us. So I'm sticking to that, managing expectation, and yeah, I'm quite happy with those two coming in, mate.
I can't help myself, man. I believe Gabriel Jesus will be in the mix for like finishing up there with some of the top goal getters this upcoming season. And I don't think that's unrealistic. I'm not saying 20 league goals, but I'm saying similar to how Harry Kane got 15 last season. Is that not unachievable? I think that's very much achievable.
I think it's achievable, and I think what people are saying, which I think is unachievable, is that they're talking about people him getting like late 20s to mid 30s. I can't see that happening. Now, the one thing I will say is this. This signing reminds me very much of Alexis Sanchez, a player that was already in a very good side that just wasn't being given a chance. And that, for me, could be a really, really good signing for Arsenal.
You know what? I was thinking the exact same thing when I seen it, because when you move from a team that has such quality in it, and you come into an Arsenal side that, let's be honest, we don't have the same level of quality as majority of these top teams like Man City and stuff like that, right? And there's no shame in saying that. But when it comes down to it, he's going to move over to a team where we're going to give him the confidence to continue to go, even when he makes a mistake. He's going to have an opportunity to put that mistake wrong. He misses a chance at City, he might be subbed out. Where at Arsenal, we're not going to bring Eddie Nketiah in because Gabriel Jesus missed a chance. We're going to wait for him to get the next chance, and hopefully he buries that one. And I'm just hopeful that some of his issues that he had at City might change when he comes to Arsenal, and people will respect him a lot more. I think he's one of the more complete strikers that we've ever had. Look at Lacazette. He couldn't run. Also, Olivier Giroud, he couldn't run. Aubameyang, he couldn't link up play. Now we have somebody who can do both, and that is what we've been missing, bro.
Yeah, fair play and fair comment about that, because I do think that he can do a bit of both, and he definitely knows where the goal is. He was a fan favourite of Man City. Spoke to Big Steve on my channel. We didn't want him to go. None of the fans did, because they like him, like everything about him. He knows Arteta well. Whether you're an Arteta fan or you're not, he definitely knows that the coach has his best interests at heart, and he believes and he's bought into this project. I think it's going to be a great signing. I really do.
There you go. Just to show you some of the people in the comment section saying Arteta is the worst manager out of the top 6. You know what? When I hear stuff like that, I can't disagree, because he is the least experienced out of the top 6. But to say he's the worst, let's be honest. You could see some of those managers getting sacked tomorrow. Like Chelsea's manager could get sacked tomorrow. Antonio Conte could resign tomorrow. We've seen it before. Every single time Arteta is being compared to other managers within the league, we call him the worst. And what ends up happening? He outlasts them. Call that an unambitious team or whatever. But I genuinely believe there is something about Arteta that's keeping these guys on side and having them invest in him. And I think that's a good thing. When was the last time a manager got this much backing from ownership at Arsenal, bro?
Yeah, it's a great point, and that's the thing for me in relation to being backed. He has been backed. They believe in him. Kroenkes believe in him. Whether you think he's right or not, I've had my doubts. Trust me, he is being backed 100% by the Kroenkes, because they're giving him all this money. He spent nearly 400 million now. It's an unbelievable amount of money that we've spent. Less than Liverpool did, by the way, when they went and did what they did, madness under Klopp. So we have to start seeing progress now. We have to start seeing results. The only thing I'll disagree with you about is I do think that the other managers will be fine. I think Conte's going to go eventually. He's not a manager that stays there forever. He might even go after this year. He certainly won't be sacked, and I don't think he'll resign. I think he'll stay there, whatever, and he'll just either go at the end of the season once he's won a trophy, or he'll just leave saying, no, you're not backing me, I'm not happy. Tuchel, they'll get it right. He's an elite manager, and they'll spend loads more money. Trust me, they've got a lot to do. But Chelsea will spend money. Manchester United, who knows with Ten Hag, but they've got a lot of work to do. And Liverpool and City, yeah, no one's touching Pep or Klopp, in my opinion. Arteta, maybe one day if things start going right, but I personally can't see it. I think Pep and Klopp are just ridiculously good, man.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about outgoings. How many players do we need to sell? Because I'm saying at least like Hector Bellerin, Torreira, Leno. You got Pepe. I would put a bunch of these guys up for sale tomorrow. let me just get the image up. But in the meanwhile, what do you think about the outgoings? Do you think we're going to get as many outgoings, or are you kind of starting to get worried that we're not going to get outgoings?
I'm starting to get worried because of the sheer number, the sheer volume of players that still need to be gone out of this club if we want to move forward. Because otherwise, we've got a very large squad, Egal. Very, very, very large squad at the moment. And most of it is full of congested, that just players that shouldn't be here, don't want to be here, or just aren't good enough. And the players I actually did on with Lee Judges the other week, and there was about 10, maybe 11 on there that I thought, could be an interesting conversation to have about who needs to go. Leno, Runnison.
I got an image for you.
Go on, man.
So you got
there we go. I mean, look at them all.
You got Torreira, Pepe, Ainsley, Bellerin, Pablo Mari, Leno, Reece Nelson. Is there anyone on this list you'd keep? Because I wouldn't keep any of them.
I wouldn't keep any of them. And I got asked this question the other day. Who would you keep out of that list? And I said Ainsley Maitland-Niles due to his versatility. But I don't think the kid wants to be here. So I'm with you. I think they'd all go, man.
There you go. And then even taking it a little bit further, everyone always gets into keeping young players. Balogun, I would loan out Balogun. Do you agree?
100%. So a Premier League club though, for me. Brentford or it's one of the clubs that just come up. I'm sure they would take him 100%. But he needs to play men's football. He needs to play football for one, and he needs to bulk up and understand that the game is quick and that the performances he needs to put in has got to be better than the last season. So he has got to improve, but I do think there's a player there. It's just a matter of what level he's at. So for me, it's a loan. I wouldn't sell him.
Okay. This one is always controversial. Pepe, where do you stand on the Pepe conversation?
Yeah, I think people know my thoughts on this. I don't think he's been treated very kindly by Mikel Arteta. And for me, I don't think Mikel Arteta would disagree with that. And the reason I don't think he would disagree that he hasn't treated him very nicely is because he doesn't rate him. He does not think he's good enough. So if you don't think that the player's good enough, you're not going to play him. And some managers just do that. I had it when I played Sunday League. I had a manager who just didn't rate me. And everyone used to say to me, why aren't you playing? The manager don't like me. And I had to leave and go and play Sunday League for someone else who did like me. Sometimes that has to happen. And I know you can't compare Sunday League to this level, but what you can do is circumstances like that relate. And I can relate to this one. I don't think this guy has done the amount wrong that some of the fans are saying. He scored 16 goals last season before last. He creates every time he comes on. And when he does come on with 10 minutes to go and we're 1-0 down, he ain't going to do much. And that's what we saw against teams like Southampton, Brighton and Palace when he was coming on and doing nothing. But when he did come on against Brentford at home and change the game and we won, and he did come on against Wolves and change the game and we won, you can see why this guy's got something about him. I don't think his career at Arsenal will be remembered very highly, but I do think he'll have another career somewhere else and he'll score some goals because there's a talent there, mate, 100%.
Okay. And people, we're not going nowhere. Do me a favor. We're about a couple likes away from getting to 50 likes. Hit that like button right now. It's absolutely free. And also, don't forget to give us your thoughts on the game. Ainsley Maitland-Niles gained weight. Man doesn't care anymore. We need to sell him. Would you guys loan SAMBI? I would keep SAMBI LOKONGA. What do you think? Would you get rid of SAMBI?
SAMBI LOKONGA in pre-season has started to be playing as a left 8. And that proves to me that Mikel Arteta doesn't believe he's no longer an anchor in midfield. So it depends who comes in. If we're going to bring in 2 midfielders, then it might be that LOKONGA goes out on loan. I do think there's a player there, and I felt so sorry for him, Egal, last season. I really did. I felt sorry for SAMBI for the 2 reasons that every single time he played, it was on his own in midfield or next to somebody with no experience. Because there was a couple of times he played with Partey, and I thought, he looks okay. One time he played with Maitland-Niles, had a very good game. I think it was against Newcastle at home, where him and Tavares looked like good signings. And it drastically changed for me because we played him alongside Charlie Patino and then on his own against Brighton. And I thought to myself, nah, this is really cruel to do this to this kid. Now, the one thing I will say, Arteta must have felt he could handle it up there. His mentality must be good. I like his forward passing. I like the fact that he looks athletic and he has a bit of presence about him in midfield. But I do feel that potentially it could be a year or two too early for him. And I'm not really sure that I can see the huge upgrade from Guendouzi. Now, Guendouzi might have been nuts. He might have had to go. I don't know the background, and no one really does, actually. I think they just guess that he was bad for the dressing room. But I look at the quality on the pitch, and one of them outshines the other, in my opinion. And Guendouzi is so much better. So when LOKONGA comes into this side, I need to be seeing those type of performances and better. If we are going to keep GRANIT, XHAKA and El Neni and Partey and sign a couple of players in there, then perhaps LOKONGA could go out on loan. But I certainly wouldn't sell him.
Okay. And then there's another divisive figure. I want to know where your stance is on GRANIT XHAKA, because I know a lot of people probably already know this, But what's your opinion on Granit Xhaka? For me, I'm not going to lie to you. I see the good traits in Granit Xhaka and I see the bad traits in Granit Xhaka. But I feel like we still go back too much to the incident that happened at Crystal Palace, and we don't judge him fairly on his recent performances. And I feel like no matter what he does, his record will be always tarnished for that incident against Crystal Palace when he told the fans what he did, and he threw the armband and everything else. And people just don't view him as that. But if you look at a traditional leader or a traditional midfielder, availability is the best ability. He's always available when it comes to telling people and holding people accountable. He always does it. And I just feel like I'm torn on Granit Xhaka, but I'm more on the side where I'm like, I understand why he's in and around the squad, and I'm okay to keep him, even if it's a squad player next season. But what do you think?
Listen, if he wants to be a squad player, be my guest. But I don't want to see him in the first Arsenal team anymore. It's been 6 years now. We've never kicked a Champions League football since signing this guy. And I do believe personally, like the Granit Xhaka movie is complete and it's done, and we need to move on from it. Now, there's a lot of things about his game that people like, and I understand why. I think he's got a good left foot. I think he can spray the ball nicely, and I do like some of his mentality at times. But some of the mentality I think is shambolic. Some of the play has been poor. His lack of discipline I've accepted that he is never going to change, and I don't need that in my side. So when I look at, do we need Granit Xhaka in the squad? I don't really care about that. Yeah, if you want, is my answer. Do we need do we need Granit Xhaka in this first team? Hell no. We need an upgrade. 100% we need an upgrade on Granit Xhaka. Now, people will say, Egal, but he had his best 2 seasons in an Arsenal shirt the last 2 seasons. Yeah, I agree, and look what we did. We come 8th and 5th. Is that's all he can do, then get the hell out, because I need better than that. I really do. And I've seen Granit Xhaka enough to know that Granit Xhaka is definitely a footballer that has some positive attributes. But my God, he has a lot of negative ones. And I can't forgive, Egal, people that make the same mistakes in football. And that's why Mikel Arteta gets on my nerves, because of the same mistakes I see from him. That's why Granit Xhaka, Mustafi, the list goes on. They all got on my nerves because they made the same damn mistakes week in, week out, year on, year out. And I think that, just lastly, on what I think needs to happen with him now, is I just think he needs to go and play somewhere where he believes that he can be loved again. Because I don't believe the majority of this fan base do love Granit Xhaka. They either accept him or they don't like him. And I feel like there's no love there. Because if you get that situation happening in any other circumstance, it would be horrendously bad if that happened in members of the public. Because I get a lot of abuse online. I'm sure you do. Yeah. If somebody tells me on Twitter that they want my family dead, do I come on a podcast and tell everybody to F off? Or do I just ignore that one idiot? Yeah? So be a man, ignore everybody, ignore that person, and accept that everybody in that stadium is coming there to support you and your football team. So I don't understand why he got so frustrated over people booing because he was walking off of a pitch when we were losing the game. And then to throw the armband off, to take his shirt off and tell everybody to F off. I'm sorry, I can't move on. I'm done with him.
So you could never fix your ways with Xhaka, even though he had...
So I can't understand it. I can't understand the mentality of it. I just don't get it.
I thought his interviews that he did a good job in trying to win the fans over again. But you've seen that interview and you just seen it as PR. Am I wrong?
100% I saw it as PR. And I did believe personally, like there was a lot more he wanted to say that he just couldn't. And I felt personally as well that oh my God, feel sorry for me because people have been horrible to me online. You're a professional footballer. You're going to get that. You need to be man enough to say that guy is a scumbag. But these fans in this stadium have done nothing wrong. So I'm not calling them out. And he told us all to F off, including me, because I was sat in the stadium when he did it. And I can't forgive that, man. Sorry. I can't move on from it.
Okay, fair. So you gave your honest opinions on Granit Xhaka. Just before we get into the rumors, big up Mohsen in the house. I think Granit Xhaka... Let's ask the same question. I hear that. Red cards, of course. People talking about Granit Xhaka. Is there anybody else that you're torn on in the Arsenal squad that, like, some people might have already given up on, but you are willing to give a chance to? Because LOKONGA's one, Xhaka's one, PEPE is another one that people are torn on. But Torreira, would you give Torreira a chance? Because you said you'd sell Torreira. Is there anybody like that on the fringes that you might give an opportunity to?
So yeah, like I said, Ainsley Maitland-Niles is frustrating because Ainsley Maitland-Niles has a mentality problem, in my opinion, because the talent is there. There's something there. He's definitely a squad player, in my opinion. He can definitely play in the inverted fullback role that we seem to be wanting to play in this system. He's definitely better than Cedric in that position, in my opinion. So when you see a player that got called up by Gareth Southgate for playing in a wing-back position, that played in an FA Cup final, that kept Bukayo Saka out of the side, that played in a left wing-back role and kept everybody quiet, that over the season had Mahrez and Zaha and the Chelsea players all in their pocket, I get frustrated when he's still not part of this side. So when I look at it, Ainsley Maitland-Niles for me has to leave. But if I had to pick one to say, do you know what, if you get your head in the game, you could have a part in this squad, I'd probably go with him. Lucas Torreira, I loved him when we signed him. He was actually one of my favourite players. He had that bite, little terrier at the ankles, didn't let you on the ball. Really, really good performance in the North London derby when we beat them 4-2 and he scored and he took his shirt off. Loved the player. And then Unai Emery decided to play him as a number 10 in David Silva position and it all went wrong. And I don't think he ever got his career back from there. I never believed that he settled in England and I don't think he's happy at Arsenal. So he, of course, does need to go. But yeah, I'd probably give Maitland-Niles and Pepe the two that I would say I like. But I don't think the manager does, so I think they'll both go as well.
Boom. Yeah, so we're 35 minutes in. Guys, ask us about whatever rumors you think we should speak about. First, I'm going to get into the mysterious winger that we've been looking at. So this mysterious winger thing is really starting to get to me because it's like no other club has targets where it's like, oh, this mysterious target that this club's going for. Usually you hear about the target, you usually have an idea who the club is going for. But we're looking at a midfielder and we're looking at a left winger or right winger, whatever position we might be going for. We have Gakpo, Jarod Bowen, we have Tielemans, Lucas Paqueta. We're just hearing names left, right, and center. But who do you think Arsenal is going to end up with if we do sign any players for the remainder of the window? Because we still need incomings and the rumors aren't disappearing. I'm hearing Jarod Bowen. I'm hearing Gakpo. Next day, I'm hearing that we're back in for Tielemans. Next day, I'm hearing Lucas Paqueta's close. I don't know what to believe anymore. Do you take these rumors with face value, or do you believe any of them? How do you handle the transfer window? Because on my end, I literally drive myself crazy. One day I believe Sane is coming. Next day I don't believe it. That's how I am.
I think that's how majority of fans are, mate. And I was like that a few years ago until I decided that the yellow bar on Sky Sports News and them holding a shirt is when I accept they're coming. Otherwise, for me, it's just a rumour. And I like transfer rumours. I love transfer windows. But actually, they do get very frustrating and very annoying for me. So when I look at Rafinha, oh my God, he's coming to Arsenal. I said, let's just cold fire. I think he wants to go Barcelona. No, he's going to come to Arsenal. It's been agreed. It's unbelievable. What a signing. Oh, he's gone to Barcelona. Oh, we didn't want him anyway. Come on, let's just calm down. Let's make sure that we're aware of who we're actually getting. You asked me the question who I think we're going to end up with. If you had to tell me now, put your house on two players that are coming to Arsenal, like the ones we're rumoured with, I'd put them on Tielemans and Gakpo. They're the two that I would put my house on. But I'm not saying that that's going to happen. If you gun to my head style, I'd go for them too. Leroy Sane, can't see it happening. Don't think that the Jarod Bowen one will happen because West Ham, I think, will just ask crazy money because they don't have to sell him. And but I can, and Lucas Paqueta, I do believe that is probably a player we're looking at. But I think Tielemans is probably more likely, and the one that I would take because he's Premier League proven, and I think he'd do very, very well. And Cody Gakpo, I can just see that one happening because I see it as more of a realistic signing than Bowen and Sane.
Would you take Bowen or Sane? Of course you would.
I'll take them both. I absolutely love both players. I think Jarod Bowen has shown in the last couple of seasons that he is definitely one of the most improved players in the Premier League. And I think as well, when you look at what Leroy Sane can do, my only doubt would be injuries. But actually, when you look at Leroy Sane, he's devastating at times. So that would be a player that I'd really be excited about. Gakpo, I don't know much about, I can't lie. But from what I hear, very highly rated and would probably fit the mould more of a style of what Arsenal are going towards, whether you agree with it or not. I think Tielemans, though, is the one that would really light things up in that middle of midfield, and I'd be really excited about that because I think he can do a bit of everything, Egal.
And the XHAKA part.
Upgrade on Granit XHAKA, bro, and he can do a lot. Tielemans can do a lot, man. Defensively,
upgrade on Granit XHAKA is going to get the most pessimistic fan happy. Even
there you go.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't want Granit XHAKA in the team, and I get that. Big up both of you guys, Mohsen. Thank you very much. We have another super chat here. Smoke setting saying 19-year-old Onana might go to West Ham. What do you think? This is another one of those transfers that I think we were linked to. Leo's Onana. I don't know if you've seen it. He's a 6'4" DM.
That's the kind of style that I would like to see come in. I still feel we need a holding midfielder to cover for Thomas Partey because LOKONGA looks to be like everybody who seems to want him to go out on loan, and I don't have the trust that if Partey gets an ACL, that Granit Xhaka or El Neni can be in for the rest of the season. I've seen enough of those that they need to just be coming in for a few games, not starting, in my opinion, loads and loads of games. So Onana is a guy that I don't really feel would be one to come in straight away. I think, you might as well just keep LOKONGA because I don't know much about the guy. But I like the attributes, I like the presence, and it's the type of defensive midfielder that I would like to see. Rumours of Arthur again. He's completely opposite to the stature and presence of somebody like him, but obviously has more experience and probably is somebody that they're looking at also. But let's see what happens, man. I still feel we need a defensive midfielder. I really do.
There you go. Big up for that. 13 more likes, guys, to get to 60 likes. Come on, we can do a lot better than that. We have 81 of you guys in the chat. Let's ratio this like button. I agree with Dan Ponce on those points. It's a first. Oh, it's
big up, first. Jeff.
There you go. Tielemans has been poor last season. I get that, but you also have to look at how many defenders were injured last season and the reason why they were poor. But moving on to our team, there's two contract signings that I want to see done: Saka and Saliba. And I'm not an ITK, but I have some people who've been speaking to me and they've been telling me, like, don't worry, this might happen very, very soon. You don't need to freak out. Saliba might be already done, and Saka, we might hear about it very soon. Eddie Nketiah, when he was getting his contract sorted out, a part of his contract getting sorted out was also that the club used the same agent for Saka, so they were trying to make sure that they're in good standing with that agent. So I want to know, what do you think about Saliba and Saka's new deals and potentially for them to be done? Because I think this is the biggest bit of business that we can do this window after Gabriel Jesus is getting these two signed on to a new contract.
I agree. I would say it's a priority. I would say it was on par with getting incomings coming in, because for me, you can't lose these two. You can't do a youth project and lose your youth. It's just madness. So for me, Bukayo Saka needs to sign that contract. I don't care if it's close to 200k. He's one of our most important players. He's the jewel in the crown. And William Saliba's just come in, starting to play pre-season, and there's news on everybody's lips. If we let him slip as well, it's going to be poor. So we can't allow there to be poor business anymore. We've seen it over the years with our best players leaving. And these two kids could be two of our best players this season. Who knows? If they're allowed to go, it's going to be another Fabregas and Van Persie situation all over again. We can't allow that to happen, mate. I think William Saliba has proven at Sanetti, and he's highly rated. When he stayed there on loan, he proved he was one of the best in France. And then because Arsenal didn't quite know what to do in terms of his personal circumstances, he then went back out to France and won Player of the Year with Nice and got into the French national team with Marseille. This kid's got something special. We cannot lose him. We need to see him, and we need to get him in a long-term contract ASAP. And likewise, Bukayo Saka, for me, could be one of the next generational talents. I think he's that good. He can do a little bit of everything. I love everything about this kid, Egal. So these two need to sign, man. It's a priority for Arsenal.
Boom. Breaking news. Leicester want Leno.
I've just heard this. But
the unreliable Get French Football News, they're the ones that reported it. So I don't know if I can believe it.
I mean, they've got Kasper Schmeichel. Is he leaving?
I don't know. I don't think he's leaving, but it's just, if they want Leno, we want Tielemans. Tielemans wants Arsenal. It's a very good straight deal. But I thought he was going to Fulham.
I heard he was going to Fulham, but Fulham apparently only want to pay like 8 million, and we want closer to 15. So maybe they've decided that it isn't going to happen, and they're moving towards somebody else now. But I don't know.
I'll take Tielemans swap deal where we give cash plus Leno. What, 15 million plus Leno should be enough, no? For Tielemans, I think that. I
believe so.
There you go. And then people are asking if there's any more other transfers. Arthur Melo, I hate this transfer rumor. It keeps coming up. It doesn't want to go away. I don't think he's coming to Arsenal. I think that ship sailed in January. But why we keep getting linked to these players? I think media sources and people in Italy have a benefit in linking us to players that we aren't even interested in. So as an Arsenal fan, certain things you need to just look at and say to yourself, it's not real.
Yeah, I can't see this one happening, and the reason I can't see it is, one, because I agree with you that it potentially would have happened in January if it was going to at all, and two, Juventus want Partey and Gabriel, and we're not going to do any swap deal to get Arthur there, so I can't see any business happening there. Apparently Kasper Schmeichel was going to Nice, by the way, someone's saying in the chat. Is that right?
Woo! Yeah, potential replacement for Kasper Schmeichel as he's agreed a deal to go to Nice. Wow.
I didn't know that.
That is a game changer. We could actually get some decent money for Leno. I'm happy
This could
about
be
that.
good. This could be good. And it could be that once we do business with Leicester, we can then say, do you know what? We've given you Leno. We can now get Tielemans to Arsenal. So maybe that is the rumour. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll have to see, definitely. Also, people always talking about Arsenal needing more forwards. Are you one of those people who are saying we need another striker with Jesus, or are you just happy to get another winger?
I would like another striker, mate, and I would like another striker that's a different profiled striker. Somebody like an Olivier Giroud type or a Tammy Abraham type that has some pace and power, but also can hold the ball up. That for me would be great. I can't see it happening, if I'm honest with you. If it was going to happen, it would have to be somebody like an Ivan Toney type player. If I'm honest, and I can't see that happening because we're not going to get an Osimhen or a Tammy Abraham. Too much money. I would have actually been interested to see what XHAKA could have done. But I think he wants to be guaranteed first team football, and that's why he's gone to West Ham. It's very hard for us to go and buy a striker now and say, right, you're on the bench because Jesus here. So I get that. But at the same time, we need a squad. And is Eddie Nketiah going to be able to play, in your opinion, 30 games a season if Jesus isn't about? Yeah, he would play, but I don't think he'd get the goals that Jesus would. So I think we need someone who can come in and do a better job than Eddie.
I don't think we need another center forward. I think we just need somebody else that can come in and play across the front three that can get us more goals and assists and help the front three productivity-wise. If it comes from the right, like a Rafinha when we're linked to him, or comes from the left, like a Gakpo, I don't mind either way. I think all we need is just more productivity and someone to come in that guarantee is an upgrade on Martinelli and ESR. Because I think they're the two guys that last season were not as consistent as Saka, where Saka was very consistent. And we've seen that the attack, doesn't matter who we played, Lacazette or Aubameyang, they were both inconsistent. And Eddie and
I personally still feel Martinelli can go down the middle and do a job. I see it under Emery, 10 goals that season, look good. A lot of people say he can't hold the ball up. I disagree. I think he's tenacious. I think he's horrible to play against for defenders. And I do think it's something I'd like to see, you know?
My guy, Terry. Big up, Terry, man. Always.
Big up, Terry. How are you well, Tel?
Yeah, and we got Sarcastic Gunner in the house. Big up Saracen Gunner, man. My guy Saracen. Yeah, guys, don't forget to hit that like us up. Before we finish off, we're gonna finish off with the expectations. But based off of last season, going into the new season, with now having more selection options, going into that Crystal Palace game, what kind of team are you looking at? Are you looking at a team where Saliba's starting? You're looking at a team where Ben White's starting? Are you looking at a team where Martinelli's starting, ESR starting? Or are you saying to yourself, the selection headaches are a good thing and you don't really care? Because I think
selection head. Go on, mate.
Yeah. No.
No,
Go ahead.
listen. Selection headaches is a brilliant thing, man. Brilliant thing. Love competition. Hate the fans that say, what happens now to Smith Rowe if Martinelli comes in? What happens now to Saka if we sign someone? What happens to Ben White now if we sign Saliba? Who cares, man? We need a squad. You know, we never said this in the Invincible season, did we? Oh, what's going to happen to Carno and Wiltord? We've got Henry and Bergkamp. No, we said this brilliant depth. What's going to happen to Parla now? We've got Lundberg. What's going to happen to Edu now? We've got Gilberto. What's going to happen to Clichy coming through? We've got Ashley Cole. It was brilliant. Everyone loved it. Man City don't say it. Liverpool don't say it. So why should Arsenal? That's where we want to be, right? So that's the way I see it. In terms of the team selection, I can tell you what I think the team will be. I think it will be Ramsdale on goal. I think it will be Ben White at right back because I don't think Tommy Yasu will make it. I think it will be Zinchenko at left back because I don't think Tierney's had enough pre-season. I think it will be Saliba and Gabriel. I think it will be Partey, Erdegaard and hopefully, fingers crossed, Tielemans if we get him in. Otherwise, it'll be Granit Xhaka. And then I think it'll be Saka, Martinelli and Jesus. That's what I believe it will be, man.
I think. And do you think that front three and attack in midfield, as it is right now, with potentially Tielemans and another winger coming in, do you think that would be good enough for us to get into the Europa League, get and win it, and possibly get top four? What are your expectations for next season? And this is the grand finale, guys. Let me know your expectations in the comment section for next season, guys. Do you think Arsenal's going to win the Europa League? Do you think Arsenal's going to get top four? Because in my opinion, bro, I'm looking at this team and I'm saying to myself, looking at Chelsea, looking at Manchester United, looking at some of the other teams around us in the league, I'm saying we might have enough right now to tip them for fourth. And looking at our opposition in the Europa League, I think we might be the favorites with Manchester United and some of the other teams to win that Europa League. And I wouldn't be surprised if we did both.
My expectations are top three and as close as you can be to Liverpool and Man City, although it's unrealistic to jump them, and win that Europa League. That is my expectations. And what I want to do as well, Egal, and people sometimes dismiss this, I want to go into the deep stages at least of both domestic cups. I don't want to be seen as losing to Forest in the third round again. I don't want to see us go into any other team losing that doesn't say in front of us, Man City beat you, or Liverpool beat you, or even Chelsea United, because you know what? They're good sides on their day and they can tip anybody out of the cup. But if I hear that Arsenal have been knocked out the Carabao Cup to Rotherham and that we got to the FA Cup fourth round but we lost to QPR, I'm sorry, man, that's not good enough. And I'm not saying that we should scrap everything up and start again. I'm just saying that for me should not be happening at Arsenal Football Club. It never used to do, so why should it happen now? Europa League, mate, one of the best teams in it in my opinion. We've got to be going for the win. I don't want this, we got to the semis and we missed out on fourth. That's not a good season. For me, there's no more excuses now. You've got a good side. You've spent 400 million. You've had one game a week and failed it. Don't go and do it again after spending another transfer window shitload of money. You've got to go and get Champions League football secured and try to win a trophy, in my opinion.
Okay. And then what about people saying we're going to push for third in the league, push for even higher position? Would you rather go for the Europa League, or would you rather put all your eggs in the basket? Say if I told you had a choice to win the Europa League or finish third in the league, which one would you rather go for? Because
I'd rather win the Europa League, man, because it's a trophy and it gets you Champions League football just like third and fourth does. If you got a trophy to show for it, it's great. I don't remember there being a third or fourth place trophy, bro. So I'm going for the trophy all day long, man.
Okay. And if Arsenal don't finish fourth in the league and we still win the Europa League, would you see that as progression? Because I'm of the opinion, in order for us to have progression, we need to do one or the other. But there's people out there who are saying if we don't get the league position improvement, in addition to winning the Europa League, then we haven't really progressed. We were in the Champions League, but we haven't progressed. Would you see it as progression if we finish sixth, for example, lower than last season, but still got the Europa?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because people will say that's progress because we're back in the Champions League. So they'd be right, because we've progressed ourselves somehow into the Champions League by finishing lower in the league. But I suppose if you was to ask me to be realistic about it, and a lot of neutral fans would agree with this, it's not progress if you're finishing lower than you were last season. But you win a trophy at the end of it, so we should be happy. And I've always been happy. I've always gone for trophies. But for me, I need to start seeing progression. And I'd ask, who's finishing above us? If we're going to finish sixth, who's finishing above us? Are those squads better than ours? Are this first team better than ours? Had they spent this much money on their squad? All of those questions come into play. But for me, I take Europa League all day long, and I'll be happy to say that was a good season.
Interesting. But yeah, man, that was pretty much it. And when it comes down to it, you're gonna be doing these shows all season long. Things are gonna change. But right now, if you were to say Arsenal to get into the top four, do you believe it, or do you think it still needs a lot of work to get there?
Okay, this is gonna sound harsh, but I'm gonna say it. I think the squad is good enough. Sorry, I think the first 11 is good enough. I don't think the squad's good enough yet. And I certainly don't have faith that the manager's good enough, because he's not proved to me that he can be yet. So I'm going to say no. But I believe if the incomings come in and we have cover for the majority of our positions, there's no reason why that team should not be getting into the top four. Because I see Manchester United in disarray. They're not going to go into the top four, in my opinion, this season. I like Ten Hag, but they've got so much work to do. Chelsea have got so much work to do, but they could get in it. Why? Because they've got Thomas Tuchel. Spurs could get into the top four, and they will do, by the way. Why? Because they've got Conte. And to be fair, they've got an okay squad now. So I look at that and I think elite managers in the top six, he's probably the weakest, as somebody said earlier. So therefore, we shouldn't be getting into the Champions League, in my opinion. However, if we do it, I'll hold my hands up and say fair play to you. We're going places and I can get behind it now. But at the moment, I struggle to, because seeing 8th, 5th and failure has really been a struggle for me the last few years. So if you was to ask me now with this side, no, I don't think we've done enough to get top four. And I don't think we've got the manager that can drag us into it. But if we do more business, then who knows?
Okay. What I would say to you is, I'm also looking at the other teams. I'm looking at Manchester United. I'm looking at Chelsea, and I'm saying to myself, we are more prepared for the new season than they have been, and that could help us have the benchmarks to start off on a good way for the new season, and then eventually could make the big difference at the beginning of the end of next season. Because if we would have started off last season well, and we would have just beat one team, Brentford, if we just would have won the first game of the season and would have been prepared for that first game of the season, it could have been the benchmark to get us top four, because we did lose out only by, what was it, 1 point to Tottenham?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, yeah, honestly, Dan, really do appreciate you coming on. This has been a great show. Definitely need to have you on again in the future. Right now, you just started your new journey with your new channel. Just let people know about your channel before we go. And, yeah, we'll go through some of the comments before we go.
Thanks, man. No, listen, I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate everyone in the chat. Cheers for the comments. If people do want to come and follow me, they can do one at DanArsenal87. And if you do want to come and follow my new channel, then it's at Football's 12th Man podcast on YouTube. And please come over to Lee Judges TV as well, because me and Lee are running the show together over there as well. So cheers, Egal. Thanks for having me on, man.
No worries. Big up everyone. And yeah, big up to everyone in the comment section. Shout out to Terry, shout out to Saracen, shout out to all the people who submitted super chats like Muhsin and the other guys. Really do appreciate everybody for the super chats, helping out the channel a lot. And also all the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button. Let's get this video past 100 likes. If you've gotten this far in the video, leave a like on the way out and have yourselves a wonderful day, guys.